Welcome to this GCSE Science tutorial video on cell specialisation. For great GCSE Science content, be sure to subscribe and remember to check us out on TikTok, where we post GCSE Science videos daily. You must bear in mind that not all cells are structured like the standard animal and plant cells you saw in textbooks in Year 7. In reality, cells are adapted to the specific function they carry out within an organism. We call this cell specialisation. Cell specialisation is when a cell differentiates to become specialised in order to carry out a specific function. In biology, the word differentiate means to change from one cell type to another. Appearing on your screen now is a standard non-specialised animal cell and plant cell, much like you would see in any textbook. These cells have not differentiated, meaning they have not changed from one cell type to another yet. However, here's an example of differentiation. Red blood cells differentiate from a type of cell in the bone marrow called a reticulocyte in order to carry out its function in the body of transporting oxygen to cells for aerobic respiration. Now, by the end of this video, you need to be able to explain how the structure of some specialised cells relates to their function within an organism. We will now look at the specialised cells you need to know for the exam, starting with specialised animal cells. First up then, we have here a sperm cell, and the sperm cell's function is to fertilise the egg cell by fusing its DNA with that of the egg cell. Appearing on your screen now at the bottom is a table. You can see on the left hand side, for each of these specialised cells we're going to list the adaptations, and on the right we're going to give the explanation as to how that adaptation helps the cell to function. So the first adaptation of the sperm cell then we're going to talk about is its long tail for swimming towards the egg. Secondly, we have the streamlined head, which gives less resistance when swimming towards the egg. Our third adaptation is that sperm cells have many mitochondria, and these provide the energy for swimming. And lastly, sperm cells have enzymes in the acrosome, and these help break down the outer layers of the egg cell prior to fertilization. Next, we have a nerve cell. And the function of a nerve cell is to transmit electrical signals throughout the body. Our first adaptation of a nerve cell is that it is long. And it is long because it needs to transfer electrical signals over long distances in the body. Secondly, nerve cells have many branches, or dendrites as they're also called. And this is to ensure that multiple connections with other nerve cells can be made, making a network that covers the whole organism. Our last adaptation is the presence of an axon. And the axon is covered in a fatty or myelin sheath, and this increases the speed at which electrical signals move along the nerve cell. Lastly, we have a muscle cell. Its function is to provide quick muscle contraction so an organism can move effectively. The first adaptation is that they contain specific proteins that slide over each other, causing muscle contractions. And like sperm cells, muscle cells also have many mitochondria. And they have these many mitochondria to provide the energy from aerobic respiration for muscle contractions. Let's now look at some adaptations of some specialised plant cells. First up then, we have a root hair cell that is found on the surface of roots. And the function of a root hair cell is to absorb water and mineral ions from the soil. So now for our adaptations. Well, root hair cells have a large surface area, and this is to increase water and mineral absorption, which supports plant growth and function. Secondly, root hair cells have no chloroplasts. This is because it is dark underground, so no light, so no photosynthesis. And our third adaptation of root hair cells is that they have thin walls. And they have thin walls for the easier movement of water. The second specialised plant cell you need to know about is a xylem cell, which makes up xylem tissue in a plant stem. And the function of the xylem cell is to transport water and mineral ions from the roots to the leaves. And xylem cells have no end walls, so are a continuous tube, and this allows for easy transportation of water and minerals. Furthermore, xylem cells contain lignin. This is a substance that strengthens and supports the cell by thickening the walls. Lastly, we have phloem cells, which make up phloem tissue within the plant. The function of phloem cells is to transport dissolved sugars around the plant for use or for storage as starch. Phloem also transport amino acids. Adaptations of phloem cells include sieve tubes that are highly adapted for transport. They contain no nucleus and have perforated ends to allow the cytoplasm of one cell to connect to another. Perforated just means it has tiny holes. And the final adaptation of a phloem cell that you need to know about is that they have companion cells attached to the sieve tubes. This is because companion cells provide the energy required to transport dissolved sugars. The sieve tube depends on the companion cells to function. I'm just going to label a companion cell for you now. As you can see, they are here. Well, you have made it to the end of the video. Well done, you've survived. Thank you once again for choosing Genius Science. And remember to work hard, be kind to others, and we'll see you in the next video.